Have you ever wondered why some people in their 80s still garden daily while others struggle to climb stairs at 65? The difference often lies not in their genes, but on their plates. Today, I'm going to reveal how specific food combinations can either accelerate aging or help you reclaim the energy you thought was lost forever. Meet Robert, SAR 72, from Boulder, Colorado, a retired physics professor who noticed his energy plummeting after turning 70. I was doing everything right, he told me during one of our consultations. Daily walks, crossword puzzles, 8 hours of sleep, but by noon, I felt like I needed a 3-hour nap. Robert's blood tests showed no medical concerns, yet his quality of life was deteriorating. The culprit, his breakfast, specifically, how he combined what many consider the perfect health food, eggs. You see, eggs are nutritional powerhouses. They contain complete proteins, choline for brain health, lutein and zeaxanthin for eye protection, and vitamins A, D, E, and K. They should be longevity allies. However, their nutritional potential can be wasted or even cause discomfort, depending on how they're consumed. After 60, your digestive system works more slowly and with greater sensitivity, making the way you combine eggs crucial to your energy, digestion, and even your aging process. The science behind this is fascinating. When we age, our digestive enzymes decrease by approximately 1.5% annually after 40, according to research from the American Journal of Gastroenterology. By 60, many people produce nearly 30% fewer digestive enzymes than they did at 30. Additionally, stomach acid production decreases, intestinal motility slows, and the gut microbiome, those trillions of bacteria helping us digest and absorb nutrients, shifts dramatically. These changes mean that food combinations that never bothered you before can suddenly trigger inflammation, nutrient malabsorption, and energy crashes. Dr. Elizabeth Hartman, a leading gastroenterologist specializing in geriatric nutrition at Mayo Clinic, explains many seniors mistake food combination problems for normal aging. They'll say, "I'm just getting old," when experiencing afternoon fatigue, brain fog, or joint pain, but often they're suffering from hidden inflammatory responses to mismatched foods that could be easily corrected. This is exactly what happened with Robert. His daily breakfast, eggs with orange juice, whole wheat toast, and a banana, seemed healthy, but created a perfect storm in his aging digestive system. Within 3 weeks of changing his food combinations, which I'll share in upcoming chapters, his energy returned, his sleep improved, and even his joint pain diminished. "I feel like I've rolled back the clock 10 years, he reported after implementing these changes. What makes proper food combining so powerful after 60 is that it works with your body's changing physiology rather than against it. When you align your eating habits with your digestive capacity, you reduce inflammation, the primary driver of age-related decline. Harvard researchers have found that chronic low-grade inflammation contributes to nearly every major age-related disease, from heart disease and diabetes to Alzheimer's and arthritis. The beauty of strategic food combining is its simplicity. You don't need expensive supplements, complicated diets, or prescription medications. You simply need to understand which foods work synergistically together and which combinations trigger problems. This knowledge gives you control over your aging process. In the coming chapters, I'll reveal the 4 most problematic food combinations that might be sabotaging your health after 60, particularly involving eggs. I'll explain exactly why these combinations cause issues, the science behind each problematic pairing, and what to do instead. Most importantly, I'll share the one combination that has been shown to actually rejuvenate the body from the inside out. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, it's never too late to optimize your nutrition for longevity. You deserve to enjoy your golden years with energy, clarity, and vitality. The secret lies not just in what you eat, but in how you combine what you eat. And that knowledge can change everything about how you age. Are you ready to discover how your breakfast might be aging you unnecessarily? Let's dive deeper in the next chapter, where we'll explore exactly how your digestive system changes after 60, and why these changes make proper food combining more important than ever before. Do you start your day with a hearty breakfast of scrambled eggs and a refreshing glass of orange juice? This classic combination, recommended by nutritionists for decades, seems to offer the perfect balance: protein from eggs and vitamin C from citrus. But what if I told you this seemingly healthy pairing might be sabotaging your digestive health and accelerating the aging process, especially after 60? Patricia, a 67-year-old retired school teacher from Portland, came to me complaining of chronic morning bloating and midday energy crashes. "I've eaten the same breakfast for 20 years, she explained. 2 eggs, whole grain toast, and a large glass of fresh squeezed orange juice. But lately, I feel like my stomach is fighting a war every morning." Patricia's story isn't unique. It represents one of the most common yet overlooked nutritional mistakes that affects millions of seniors. Let's explore why this combination can be problematic, especially as we age. The science behind this interaction is fascinating and centers around digestive chemistry. Eggs are primarily protein and fat, requiring specific enzymes and an acidic environment for proper digestion. Your stomach produces hydrochloric acid and the enzyme pepsin to break down proteins effectively. These work best in a precise pH range, specifically a highly acidic environment with a pH between 1.5 and 3.5. Citrus fruits like oranges, while acidic themselves, paradoxically create an alkaline effect once metabolized. When you consume orange juice alongside eggs, this alkalizing effect disrupts the stomach's optimal acidity for protein digestion. Dr. Jonathan Levin, gastroenterologist and researcher at Columbia University, explains, when citrus juice is consumed with protein-rich foods like eggs, it can temporarily raise the stomach's pH level, making it less acidic than required for optimal protein breakdown. For younger individuals with robust digestive systems, this might go unnoticed, but after 60, when digestive efficiency naturally declines, this disruption can lead to incomplete protein digestion. This incomplete protein digestion has several consequences. First, partially digested proteins can ferment in the intestines, causing gas, bloating, and discomfort. Exactly what Patricia experienced every morning. Second, and perhaps more concerning, is that incomplete protein digestion reduces the absorption of essential amino acids like lysine and leucine, which are crucial for immune function and muscle maintenance after 60. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition and Aging tracked 180 adults over 65 for 6 months and found that those who regularly consumed citrus juices with protein-rich meals had measurably lower plasma amino acid levels compared to those who separated these foods. The difference was significant enough to potentially impact muscle preservation and immune response, two critical concerns for healthy aging. But the problems don't end there. When proteins aren't properly digested, they can also trigger low-grade inflammation as the body responds to these larger, unprocessed protein molecules. Chronic inflammation is now recognized as the underlying driver of most age-related diseases and accelerated aging itself. Dr. Walter Longo, longevity researcher at the University of Southern California, calls inflammation the silent accelerator of aging and emphasizes that digestive disruptions are a common but overlooked trigger. What happened when Patricia separated her orange juice and egg? The results were remarkable. I started drinking my orange juice 30 minutes before breakfast, then having my eggs. Within 3 days, the bloating disappeared completely. After 2 weeks, I noticed I no longer needed my afternoon nap. I actually have energy to garden in the evenings now, she reported at our follow-up consultation. The solution to this problematic food combination is beautifully simple. Separate your citrus and eggs by at least 30 minutes. If you love starting your day with orange juice, enjoy it first thing upon waking, then wait half an hour before having your egg-based breakfast. Alternatively, save the citrus for a mid-morning snack. This small timing adjustment can make a significant difference in how you feel and how efficiently your body extracts nutrition from these otherwise healthy foods. For Patricia, this single change triggered a cascade of positive effects. Better protein digestion led to improved amino acid absorption, which supported her muscle maintenance. Reduced digestive stress decreased inflammation, which improved her energy levels. And stable morning digestion created more consistent blood sugar levels throughout the day, eliminating the afternoon crashes that had become her norm. You might wonder, is this true for all citrus fruits? Yes, this caution applies to grapefruits, lemons, limes, and even tomatoes, which are acidic though not citrus. All of these foods can potentially disrupt the stomach's acid balance when consumed alongside protein-rich eggs. What about other acidic drinks with breakfast? Coffee, another breakfast staple, is also acidic but doesn't typically cause the same disruptive alkalizing effect as citrus. However, coffee has its own set of considerations when paired with egg, which we'll explore in a later chapter. The broader principle here extends beyond just eggs and orange juice. As we age, the timing and combining of different food types becomes increasingly important. Your digestive system at 60 plus no longer has the resilience and enzyme abundance it had at 30. It needs more strategic support, which you can provide through mindful food combining. Dr. Michelle Chen, a nutritional biochemist specializing in aging, puts it succinctly. After 60, digestion is not just about what you eat, but when you eat it and what you eat it with. The most nutritious foods in the world can become problematic if combined in ways that your aging digestive system cannot efficiently process. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate either eggs or citrus from your diet. Both are nutritional powerhouses with significant benefits for aging well. Eggs provide choline for brain health and lutein for eye protection, while citrus delivers immune-boosting vitamin C and circulation-enhancing bioflavonoids. The aim is simply to enjoy them in a sequence that supports rather than challenges your digestion. In our next chapter, we'll explore another common breakfast combination that might be depleting your energy and accelerating aging: eggs and tea. This pairing, enjoyed by millions of seniors worldwide every morning, could be silently robbing you of critical nutrients needed for vibrant aging. But first, I encourage you to try separating your eggs and citrus for just 1 week. Pay attention to how your digestion feels, your energy levels throughout the day, and even subtler changes like mental clarity and mood stability. Sometimes the smallest nutritional adjustments yield the most noticeable improvements in quality of life. Have you ever felt inexplicably tired despite getting enough sleep? Do you notice that your nails break easily, your hair seems thinner, or you catch every cold that comes around? If you enjoy eggs with your morning tea, whether it's black, green, or oolong, you might be unknowingly creating a nutritional void that affects your entire body, especially after 60. James I, a 64-year-old accountant from Boston, came to my clinic concerned about his persistent fatigue and recent diagnosis of iron deficiency anemia. I've always been health conscious, he explained. Every morning for the past decade, I've had 2 boiled eggs and a large cup of green tea. I thought I was doing everything right. His blood work revealed significantly low iron levels despite consuming iron-rich eggs regularly. The surprising culprit? His beloved morning tea. Tea contains compounds called tannins, powerful antioxidants that give tea its characteristic flavor and health benefits. While tannins have impressive properties, including potential cancer prevention and cardiovascular protection, they have a problematic side effect. They're iron-binding compounds. When consumed alongside iron-rich foods like eggs, tannins attach to the iron molecules, creating insoluble complexes that your body cannot absorb. Dr. Sarah Richardson, a hematologist at Johns Hopkins University, explains, tannins in tea can reduce iron absorption by up to 60% when consumed with meals. For younger adults with robust iron stores, this might not pose an immediate problem. However, after 60, when many people already have declining iron stores and reduced stomach acid production, this interaction can contribute to clinically significant iron deficiency over time. Iron deficiency affects every system in your body. It reduces hemoglobin production, limiting oxygen transport throughout your body. This oxygen shortage explains the fatigue that James and many seniors experience, but the effects extend beyond energy levels. Iron is crucial for immune function, cognitive performance, temperature regulation, and even the production of neurotransmitters that regulate mood. Studies have linked low iron levels in seniors to increased fall risk, reduced cognitive function, and diminished quality of life. It's not just iron that's affected by this combination. Tannins also bind to calcium, zinc, and certain amino acids in eggs, creating a broader nutritional gap than most people realize. Calcium absorption can decrease by approximately 25% when high tannin beverages are consumed with meals, according to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. For adults over 60 already facing increased osteoporosis risk, this interaction adds another barrier to maintaining bone health. The protein quality of eggs is also compromised by tea. Tannins can bind to proteins, making them less digestible and reducing the bioavailability of essential amino acids. Considering that protein needs often increase with age to preserve muscle mass and support immune function, this interaction is particularly concerning for older adults. When James separated his tea consumption from his breakfast by just 1 hour, the results were remarkable. Within 3 months, his iron levels normalized, his energy returned, and he noticed stronger nails and fewer respiratory infections. I still enjoy my eggs and my tea every day, he shared at our follow-up appointment. I simply have my eggs first, wait an hour, and then savor my tea as a mid-morning ritual. This small change has transformed how I feel. The solution to this nutritional dilemma is straightforward. Separate your tea and eggs by at least 60 minutes. This timing allows your body to begin absorbing the iron, calcium, and proteins from eggs before introducing the binding tannins from tea. If you prefer starting your day with tea, enjoy it first. Then wait an hour before having your egg-based breakfast. Alternatively, save your tea for mid-morning or afternoon. Dr. Michael Zhang, professor of nutritional biochemistry at Tufts University, notes, the timing of nutrient intake becomes increasingly important as we age. The digestive and metabolic efficiency we took for granted in youth requires more strategic planning after 60. Simple adjustments in the timing of food and beverage consumption can have profound effects on nutritional status. What about coffee? Like tea, coffee contains phenolic compounds that can interfere with iron absorption, though typically to a lesser extent than tea. However, coffee introduces other considerations when paired with egg, particularly related to digestion and cortisol patterns, which we'll explore in a future chapter. For those wondering about herbal teas, the tannin content varies significantly. Rooibos, chamomile, and peppermint teas generally contain lower tannin levels than traditional teas and may be better options to consume with meals if you enjoy a hot beverage with breakfast. Another excellent alternative is warm water with lemon or a light vegetable broth, which can provide hydration and warmth without compromising nutrient absorption. The implications of this food-combining principle extend beyond breakfast. Many seniors take iron supplements with tea or coffee, unknowingly neutralizing their benefits. Others drink tea with lunch or dinner, potentially compromising the absorption of iron from other sources like leafy greens or beans. Being mindful of spacing iron-rich foods and tannin-containing beverages throughout the day can significantly improve your overall nutritional status. Elizabeth, a 70-year-old retired nurse from Chicago, applied this principle to her entire diet after learning about tannin interactions. I used to drink tea throughout the day with every meal. After adjusting my timing, not only did my energy improve, but the chronic headaches I'd attributed to aging disappeared completely. My doctor was amazed by the improvement in my blood work, she reported. For optimal nutrition after 60, consider keeping a simple food journal for 1 week, noting when you consume tannin-rich beverages, black, green, white, and oolong teas, as well as coffee, and iron-rich foods, eggs, leafy greens, beans, meat if you eat it. Look for patterns and opportunities to create more space between these foods and beverages. Even adjusting a few meals per week can lead to measurable improvements in energy and overall health. Remember that aging well isn't just about what you eat. It's about how efficiently your body can use what you eat. Strategic food combining removes unnecessary obstacles to nutrient absorption, allowing you to derive maximum benefit from the healthy foods you're already consuming. In our next chapter, we'll explore another surprisingly problematic combination: eggs and white bread. This pairing, a breakfast staple for millions, creates blood sugar disruptions that can accelerate aging and inflammation. But first, try experimenting with separating your tea and eggs for just 1 week. Many people notice improvements in energy levels within days of making this simple adjustment, offering compelling personal evidence of its impact. You've likely heard that eggs are a nutritional powerhouse, packed with high-quality protein and essential nutrients. Perhaps you pair them with toast for a balanced breakfast, thinking you're making a wise choice for your health. But could this classic combination, eggs with white bread, actually be sabotaging your metabolic health and accelerating the aging process after 60? Margaret I, a 71-year-old retired librarian from Philadelphia, was diligent about her health. "I've eaten the same breakfast for years. 2 scrambled eggs with 2 slices of white toast. It's simple, satisfying, and I thought, nutritious," she told me during our first consultation. Despite her consistent exercise routine and seemingly healthy diet, Margaret struggled with stubborn abdominal fat, afternoon energy crashes, and worsening arthritis pain. Her doctor had recently warned her about prediabetes, leaving her confused and frustrated. "How could this happen when I'm so careful with my diet?" she wondered. The answer lies in a complex metabolic interaction that becomes increasingly problematic as we age. While eggs are indeed nutritionally dense, pairing them with white bread creates a glycemic imbalance that can trigger inflammation, insulin resistance, and accelerated cellular aging, particularly after 60, when metabolism naturally becomes less forgiving. Let's explore the science behind this interaction. White bread has a high glycemic index, GI, of approximately 70 to 75, meaning it rapidly converts to glucose in your bloodstream. When you consume white bread, your blood sugar rises quickly, prompting your pancreas to release a surge of insulin to move that glucose into your cells. Dr. Benjamin Reynolds, endocrinologist at the University of Pennsylvania, explains, "This rapid spike and subsequent crash in blood sugar creates a metabolic roller coaster that becomes increasingly damaging with age. After 60, insulin sensitivity naturally declines by about 1% per year, making these glycemic fluctuations more pronounced and potentially harmful. The problem isn't the eggs themselves. It's how the combination affects your metabolic response. When high GI carbohydrates like white bread are consumed alongside protein-rich egg, they trigger a phenomenon called insulin amplification. The protein in eggs stimulates additional insulin release beyond what would occur from the carbohydrates alone. For younger adults with robust insulin sensitivity, this effect may be negligible, but for those over 60, this amplified insulin response can accelerate the path toward insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, and type 2 diabetes. A landmark study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism demonstrated that adults over 65 who regularly consumed high GI foods with protein-rich meals showed significantly higher inflammatory markers, including C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, compared to those who paired proteins with low GI carbohydrates. This chronic low-grade inflammation contributes to accelerated cellular aging, joint deterioration, cognitive decline, and increased cardiovascular risk. The metabolic impact extends beyond blood sugar. When you experience these regular insulin spikes, your body becomes more efficient at storing fat, particularly in the abdominal region. This visceral fat isn't just a cosmetic concern. It's metabolically active tissue that produces inflammatory compounds and hormones that further disrupt your metabolic health. Dr. Lisa Chen, researcher at the Longevity Institute, notes, abdominal fat accumulation after 60 isn't simply a matter of calories. It's heavily influenced by hormonal signals triggered by food combinations that promote fat storage rather than utilization. For Margaret, replacing white bread with more metabolically friendly alternatives made a remarkable difference. "I switched to pairing my eggs with avocado, spinach, and tomatoes instead of toast. Within 3 weeks, I noticed my energy remained stable throughout the day. After 2 months, I'd lost 2 inches from my waistline without changing anything else, and my arthritis pain had noticeably decreased," she reported during our follow-up visit. 6 months later, her blood glucose had normalized, and her doctor was impressed by the improvements in her inflammatory markers. The solution isn't to abandon eggs. They remain an excellent protein source, particularly beneficial after 60, when protein needs increase to preserve muscle mass. Rather, it's about being strategic with what you combine them with. Instead of white bread, consider these alternatives. 1. Non-starchy vegetables like spinach, kale, bell peppers, tomatoes, and mushrooms create an anti-inflammatory base for your eggs, providing fiber that slows digestion and stabilizes blood sugar response. 2. Avocado offers healthy monounsaturated fats that further moderate glycemic response, while providing additional nutrients that support brain health and reduce inflammation. 3. If you prefer a carbohydrate with your eggs, choose low glycemic options like sourdough bread, which has a lower GI due to fermentation, whole grain breads with visible seeds and grains, or sweet potatoes, which have a moderate glycemic index and abundant antioxidants. 4. Add anti-inflammatory herbs and spices to your eggs. Turmeric with black pepper, cinnamon, and fresh herbs like basil or cilantro not only enhance flavor, but actively counter the inflammatory processes that accelerate aging. Dr. Richard Martinez, a geriatric specialist focusing on nutritional interventions, explains, many of my patients over 60 make the critical error of focusing exclusively on food types while ignoring food combinations. They'll eat healthy foods, but combine them in ways that trigger unhealthy metabolic responses. Simply pairing proteins with low glycemic carbohydrates or healthy fats instead of high glycemic carbohydrates can dramatically improve health outcomes, often within weeks. This principle extends beyond breakfast. Throughout the day, being mindful of combining protein sources like fish, poultry, legume, or dairy with low glycemic carbohydrates rather than refined options helps maintain metabolic equilibrium. This stable metabolic state reduces oxidative stress and glycation, two processes that directly accelerate aging at the cellular level. Glycation occurs when excess glucose binds to proteins in your blood, forming advanced glycation end products, AGEs, that damage tissues throughout your body. These AGEs contribute to skin aging, arterial stiffening, kidney damage, and neurodegeneration. By avoiding the blood sugar spikes triggered by combinations like eggs and white bread, you directly reduce the formation of these aging accelerators. Henry, a 68-year-old retired engineer from Seattle, applied this principle throughout his diet after learning about glycemic management. I used to eat what I thought were healthy meals, grilled chicken with white rice or fish with white potato. After switching to lower glycemic combinations, the chronic inflammation in my knees decreased so much that I was able to return to hiking, something I thought I'd never do again, he shared. His experience mirrors the research showing that controlling glycemic response through food combinations can significantly reduce age-related inflammation. In our next chapter, we'll explore another seemingly innocent but potentially problematic combination: eggs and bananas. This popular pairing creates digestive confusion that can trigger bloating, fatigue, and nutrient malabsorption in adults over 60. But first, consider experimenting with replacing white bread in your egg breakfasts with vegetables or low glycemic alternatives for just 2 weeks. Many people report noticeable changes in energy stability, mental clarity, and even joint comfort within this short time frame. You're trying to make healthier choices, so you prepare a breakfast of scrambled eggs with a banana on the side. Both are nutritious foods, so this combination should be ideal, right? Unfortunately, this seemingly innocent pairing could be causing the bloating, gas, and afternoon energy crashes you've been experiencing. For adults over 60, this digestive conflict can be particularly problematic. Thomas, a 66-year-old retired construction manager from Denver, came to me puzzled by his persistent digestive discomfort. I've simplified my breakfast to what I thought were two of the healthiest foods, eggs and a banana, but within an hour of eating, I feel bloated and uncomfortable. By early afternoon, I'm completely drained of energy, he explained during our consultation. Thomas had been diagnosed with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and was taking medication for it, but the symptoms persisted despite his seemingly clean diet. The issue lies in a fundamental mismatch in digestive timing between these two nutritious foods. Eggs are primarily protein and fat, requiring extensive processing by your digestive system. They need strong stomach acid, protein-digesting enzymes like pepsin, and a relatively long time, up to 3 to 4 hours, to break down completely. Bananas, on the other hand, are predominantly carbohydrates that digest much more quickly, typically within 30-60 minutes. Dr. Emily Watkins, gastroenterologist specializing in geriatric digestive health at Northwestern University, explains the problem. When rapidly digesting carbohydrates like bananas are consumed alongside slower digesting proteins like eggs, the carbohydrates can become trapped behind the protein in the digestive tract. This creates a situation where the carbohydrates begin fermenting while waiting for the proteins to be processed, leading to gas production, bloating, and discomfort. This digestive conflict becomes more pronounced after 60 due to age-related changes in your digestive system. Gastric acid production typically decreases by 30-40% by age 65, digestive enzyme output diminishes, and intestinal motility slows. These changes mean that protein digestion takes even longer, exacerbating the mismatch when combined with quick-digesting fruits like bananas. The fermentation process that occurs when bananas are held up in the digestive tract creates not just physical discomfort, but can also trigger the release of inflammatory compounds. Dr. Robert Klein, immunologist at University of California, San Diego, notes, fermentation in the upper digestive tract can produce compounds that irritate the gut line, potentially triggering low-grade inflammation. For seniors already dealing with age-related inflammatory processes, this additional burden can contribute to systemic inflammation affecting joints, eye, cognitive function, and energy levels. Beyond the immediate discomfort, this combination creates problematic blood sugar patterns. Bananas have a moderate to high glycemic index, causing a relatively quick rise in blood glucose. When their digestion is delayed by the presence of eggs, it creates an unpredictable and often extended blood sugar response. Rather than the steady energy you seek from breakfast, you might experience fluctuating glucose levels that contribute to mid-morning cravings, afternoon fatigue, and even mood swing. For Thomas, separating these foods made a dramatic difference. I started eating my banana first thing in the morning, about 45 minutes before my egg. Within days, the bloating disappeared completely. The afternoon crashes stopped, and I actually had enough energy to start taking evening walks with my wife, he reported during our follow-up. After 3 months of this simple change, his IBS symptoms had improved so significantly that his doctor reduced his medication. The solution to this digestive conflict is straightforward. Honor the different digestive timelines of these foods by consuming them separately. If you enjoy both eggs and bananas as part of your morning routine, try one of these approaches. 1. Eat your banana first thing upon waking. Then wait 30-45 minutes before preparing and eating your eggs. This allows the banana to move through your stomach before the slower digesting eggs arrive. 2. Have your eggs for breakfast. Then enjoy the banana as a mid-morning snack, at least 2 hours after your egg breakfast. This provides adequate time for the eggs to clear your stomach before introducing the quick-digesting fruit. 3. Keep eggs for breakfast, but save bananas for afternoon snacks, when they can be digested without competing with protein-rich foods. Dr. Sandra Martinez, a physiologist specializing in chronodigestion, the timing of digestive processes, emphasizes that this principle extends beyond just eggs and bananas. The sequencing of different food types becomes increasingly important after 60. Separating quickly digesting carbohydrates from slower digesting proteins and fats can significantly improve nutrient absorption, energy levels, and digestive comfort. This digestive wisdom appears in various traditional eating patterns around the world. In many Asian cultures, fruit is traditionally eaten alone, either 30 minutes before a meal or at least 2 hours after. In Mediterranean regions, meals are often sequenced with lighter, carbohydrate-containing foods first, followed by protein. These cultural practices reflect an intuitive understanding of digestive timing that modern nutritional science is now confirming. Elaine, a 73-year-old retired professor from Miami, applied this principle throughout her diet. I used to eat fruit with or immediately after every meal, thinking I was making healthy choices. Once I started separating fruits from proteins, especially at breakfast, my chronic heartburn disappeared completely. My energy became much more stable, and I've even noticed my mental clarity has improved, she shared. Elaine's experience demonstrates how one simple change in food sequencing can have far-reaching effects on overall well-being. For those over 60, optimizing digestive efficiency becomes particularly valuable since nutrient absorption naturally decreases with age. By removing obstacles to proper digestion, like the conflict between quickly digesting bananas and slower digesting eggs, you enhance your body's ability to extract and utilize the valuable nutrients from these otherwise healthy foods. This principle applies to other quick digesting fruits as well. Melons, berries, grapes, and most fresh fruits digest rapidly and are best eaten alone rather than alongside protein-rich foods like egg, yogurt, or meat. This doesn't mean you should eliminate either foods from your diet. Just be mindful of when you consume them relative to each other. In our next chapter, we'll explore the one egg combination that actually rejuvenates your body after 60, a simple yet powerful pairing that supports brain health, eye function, digestive balance, and reduced inflammation. This golden combination leverages synergistic nutrients that work together to combat age-related decline. But first, try experimenting with separating your eggs and bananas or other fruits for just 1 week, and notice how your digestion and energy levels respond to this simple adjustment. After exploring several problematic food combinations that might be accelerating your aging process, let's shift our focus to a pairing that does exactly the opposite. It actually rejuvenates your body from the inside out. This combination isn't merely harmless, it's actively beneficial, creating a synergistic effect that supports multiple aspects of healthy aging. I'm talking about the powerful union of eggs and pumpkin. Eleanor, a 78-year-old retired nurse from Minneapolis, came to me with concerns about her declining vision, frequent digestive discomfort, and increasing joint pain, all issues she considered normal parts of aging. When I suggested she try incorporating poached eggs with pumpkin into her weekly meal rotation, she was skeptical but willing. At my age, I'm open to trying anything that might help, she told me. 3 months later, her ophthalmologist noted improvement in her macular health. Her digestive issues had largely resolved, and she reported a 60% reduction in joint discomfort. I never imagined food combinations could make such a difference at my age, she shared during our follow-up. What makes this pairing so uniquely beneficial, especially for adults over 60? The answer lies in the complementary nutrient profiles of these two foods and how they work together to address key aspects of the aging process. Pumpkin is extraordinarily rich in beta-carotene, which your body converts to vitamin A as needed. A single cup provides over 200% of your daily vitamin A requirements. But pumpkin offers much more than just this well-known nutrient. It contains lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids that specifically target eye health by protecting the macula, the central part of the retina responsible for detailed vision that often deteriorates with age. Pumpkin also provides a significant dose of vitamin C, E, potassium, and fiber, all in a low-calorie package. Eggs, as we've discussed, are nutritional powerhouses containing high-quality protein, choline for brain health, and ironically, more lutein and zeaxanthin, the same eye-protective compounds found in pumpkin. Eggs also provide vitamin D, B vitamins, selenium, and phosphorus. When combined, something remarkable happens. Dr. Jennifer Harris, ophthalmologist and researcher at the Macular Degeneration Foundation, explains the fat-soluble carotenoids in pumpkin, lutein, zeaxanthin, and beta-carotene require dietary fat for optimal absorption. The yolks in eggs provide exactly the right type of fats to enhance carotenoid bioavailability, potentially increasing absorption by 400 to 700% compared to consuming pumpkin alone. A groundbreaking study from the University of Monterrey's Institute of Ophthalmology found that adults over 65 who regularly consumed eggs with carotenoid-rich vegetables showed a 40% reduced risk of age-related macular degeneration progression compared to those consuming similar vegetables without egg. This effect was particularly pronounced with orange vegetables like pumpkin and sweet potatoes, but the benefits extend far beyond eye health. The anti-inflammatory compounds in both foods work synergistically to reduce systemic inflammation, a primary driver of aging. Dr. Michael Chen, immunologist specializing in nutritional approaches to inflammation, notes, both eggs and pumpkin contain complementary anti-inflammatory compounds. Eggs provide phospholipids that help repair cell membranes, while pumpkin contributes beta-carotene and vitamin E that neutralize free radicals. Together, they address inflammation through multiple pathways simultaneously. The digestive benefits are equally impressive. Pumpkin is rich in both soluble and insoluble fiber, supporting healthy gut flora and regular bowel movements. The soluble fiber serves as a prebiotic, feeding beneficial bacteria in your colon. These bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids that strengthen the gut barrier and reduce inflammation throughout the body via the gut-brain axis. When combined with the easily digestible protein from egg, this pairing creates a meal that's gentle on the aging digestive system while promoting gut health. For brain health, this combination offers a powerful 1-2 punch. Eggs are one of the richest dietary sources of choline, a precursor to acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter crucial for memory and cognitive function that tends to decline with age. Pumpkin contributes antioxidants that help protect brain cells from oxidative damage. Dr. Lisa Peterson, neuroscientist at Columbia University, explains, the combination of choline from eggs and antioxidants from pumpkin creates an ideal environment for supporting cognitive health after 60. The choline provides building blocks for brain cell maintenance, while the antioxidants protect those cells from age-related damage. Unlike the problematic combinations we've discussed in previous chapters, eggs and pumpkin have complementary digestive timelines. Both require moderate digestion time, allowing for synchronous processing that doesn't trigger the fermentation or acid disruption we saw with other pairings. The practical application of this knowledge is simple yet powerful. Incorporate eggs poached in pumpkin soup into your regular meal rotation. Here's a basic recipe that Eleanor and hundreds of my clients over 60 have used with remarkable results. Start by sautéing diced onion and minced garlic in olive oil until translucent. Add cubed pumpkin, fresh or frozen, and vegetable or chicken broth. Season with a pinch of turmeric, black pepper, and a small amount of sea salt. Simmer until the pumpkin is tender, then blend until smooth. Return to gentle heat. Create a small whirlpool with a spoon, and carefully crack an egg into the center. Cover and allow the egg to poach in the hot soup for 3.4 minutes until the white is set but the yolk remains slightly runny. Serve with fresh herbs like parsley or cilantro and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. This simple dish takes less than 20 minutes to prepare, but provides a wealth of synergistic nutrients specifically beneficial for adults over 60. The turmeric and black pepper add another layer of anti-inflammatory benefit, while the olive oil further enhances the absorption of fat-soluble nutrients. David, a 70-year-old retired teacher from Portland, incorporated this dish into his breakfast rotation 3 times weekly. After just 1 month, I noticed my digestion had improved dramatically. After 3 months, my annual eye exam showed my macular health had stabilized after years of decline. My doctor was amazed and asked what I'd been doing differently, he shared. His experience echoes the research showing that consistent consumption of this pairing can have measurable effects on health markers. For those who don't enjoy soup for breakfast, this combination works equally well as a lunch or dinner option. The key is consuming the eggs and pumpkin together, allowing their nutrients to work synergistically. If soup isn't appealing, Consider pumpkin and egg frittatas, scrambled eggs with pumpkin puree mixed in, or poached eggs over roasted pumpkin. Dr. Robert Williams, a geriatric nutrition specialist, emphasizes the importance of consistency. The benefits of synergistic food combinations like eggs and pumpkin are cumulative. Consuming this pairing once might provide acute antioxidant protection, but the real transformative effects occur when these foods are incorporated regularly over months, allowing their complementary nutrients to systematically address age-related changes. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to create a comprehensive weekly meal plan that incorporates this rejuvenating combination while avoiding the problematic pairings we've discussed. We'll also examine how to adapt these principles for different dietary preferences, health conditions, and practical considerations. But first, try incorporating the egg and pumpkin soup into your routine twice weekly for the next 2 weeks, and notice how your digestion, energy, and overall well-being respond to this simple yet powerful nutritional strategy. You've learned about problematic food pairings that might be sabotaging your health and discovered the rejuvenating power of eggs and pumpkin. But how do you translate this knowledge into a practical, sustainable eating pattern? In this chapter, we'll explore how to create a weekly meal plan that honors proper food combining principles while remaining flexible, enjoyable, and aligned with your personal preferences. William, a 67-year-old retired architect from San Diego, struggled with implementing nutritional changes despite his best intentions. I'd read about healthy eating for years, but always found myself reverting to old habits, he explained during our first consultation. I'd try a new recipe once, then go back to my usual eggs with orange juice and toast the next day. After learning about strategic food combine, William committed to following a structured weekly plan. 6 months later, his triglycerides had dropped by 70 points, his joint pain had decreased significantly, and he'd lost 14 pounds without feeling deprived. Having a clear plan eliminated decision fatigue, he noted. Now these healthier combinations feel like my new normal. Creating an effective meal plan after 60 isn't about rigid rules or eliminating favorite foods. Instead, it's about strategically organizing your meals to maximize nutritional synergies while avoiding problematic combinations. Dr. Melissa Thompson, a gerontologist specializing in nutritional planning, explained, meal planning for older adults isn't just about what to eat, but when to eat specific foods and in what combinations. A well-designed plan works with your body's changing digestive capacity and metabolic needs, creating a foundation for sustainable energy and reduced inflammation. Let's build a framework for your optimal weekly meal plan, focusing on breakfast since we've primarily discussed egg combinations. Start your week with the powerful eggs and pumpkin combination we explored in Chapter 6. Variations might include pumpkin soup with poached eggs and fresh herbs, scrambled eggs with sautéed pumpkin and spinach, egg and pumpkin frittata with anti-inflammatory spices like turmeric. On these days, honor the principle of keeping quick-digesting fruits separate from slower-digesting protein. 7. Stagger AM. Fresh fruit, including bananas or citrus, consumed alone. 7:45 a.m. Eggs with non-starchy vegetables like spinach, mushrooms, and bell peppers allow space for traditional favorites but with strategic upgrades. If you enjoy eggs with toast, choose sourdough or true whole grain bread instead of white bread. If you love orange juice with breakfast, enjoy it 30 minutes before your egg. If tea is your morning ritual, have it at least 1 hour before or after your egg-based meal. This rhythmic approach, alternating between optimal combinations and strategic separations, creates a sustainable pattern that's easier to maintain than daily perfection. Dr. Richard Klein, nutritional biochemist at Tufts University, notes, consistency over time matters more than perfection at every. A well-structured weekly pattern that someone can maintain for years will yield far greater benefits than a perfect daily plan that's abandoned after a few weeks. Beyond breakfast, apply these same principles to your lunch and dinner planning. 1. Pair proteins with non-starchy vegetables for optimal digestion and nutrient absorption. This might include salmon with roasted Brussels sprouts, chicken with leafy green salad, or lentils with sautéed zucchini. 2. Consume starchy carbohydrates mindfully, either in separate meals from heavy proteins or in small portions alongside protein with plenty of non-starchy vegetables to buffer glycemic impact. 3. Enjoy fruits strategically, ideally as snacks between meals rather than alongside protein-rich foods. This honors their different digestive timelines. 4. Include fermented foods regularly to support digestive health and nutrient absorption. Options like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi provide beneficial probiotics that become increasingly important after 60, when digestive efficiency naturally declines. 5. Build meals around anti-inflammatory combinations that work synergistically, such as fatty fish with cruciferous vegetables, turmeric with black pepper and healthy fats, or eggs with carotenoid-rich foods like pumpkin. Catherine, a 74-year-old retired accountant from Chicago, implemented this framework after years of digestive issues and chronic fatigue. Having specific days for different approaches made it feel manageable, she shared. I wasn't giving up anything permanently, just organizing when I ate certain combinations. Within 3 weeks, The afternoon energy crashes disappeared completely, and my persistent bloating resolved. 6 months later, my inflammatory markers had decreased so significantly that my rheumatologist reduced my medication. A crucial aspect of successful meal planning after 60 is preparation. William, who we met earlier, found that dedicating 2 hours each weekend to food prep was transformative. I roast vegetables, prepare pumpkin soup base, and cook a batch of quinoa. Having these components ready makes it easy to assemble proper combinations throughout the week, even when I'm tired or busy, he explained. This approach removes the common barrier of convenience that often leads us back to problematic food combinations. Dr. Sarah Johnson, professor of geriatric nutrition at Cornell University, emphasizes the importance of hydration in your meal planning. Proper hydration becomes increasingly critical after 60, when thirst signals naturally diminish and kidney function may decline. Strategic hydration, consuming water between meals rather than with meals, supports optimal digestion by preventing dilution of digestive enzymes while ensuring adequate fluid intake for cellular function and waste removal. Consider integrating these hydration principles into your meal plan. Drink a glass of room temperature water upon waking. Enjoy herbal teas between meals rather than with protein-rich foods. Limit fluids 15 minutes before and 30 minutes after meals to optimize digestive efficiency. For those managing specific health conditions like diabetes, heart disease, eye, or osteoporosis, these food combining principles can complement condition-specific recommendations. Frank, a 70-year-old retired teacher with type 2 diabetes, found that separating fruit from his protein meals and pairing eggs with low glycemic vegetables instead of toast helped stabilize his blood sugar levels more effectively than counting carbohydrates alone. My doctor was amazed at the improvement in my glucose control, he reported. My A1C dropped from 7.2 to 6.1 in 3 months, without changing my medication. When creating your personal meal plan, remember that flexibility remains important. Dr. Michael Rivera, geriatric health specialist, notes, the psychological component of eating cannot be overlooked. A sustainable plan must include flexibility for social occasions, travel, and pleasure. The 80-20 approach, following optimal combinations 80% of the time while allowing 20% flexibility, creates a balanced framework that supports both physical health and quality of life. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to adapt these principles for different dietary patterns, including vegetarian, Mediterranean, and low-carbohydrate approaches. We'll also address common challenges such as dining out, cooking for others with different nutritional needs, and adapting these principles during illness or recovery. But first, try implementing a simple 3-day rotation using the breakfast framework outlined above, and notice how your energy, digestion, and overall well-being respond to this strategic approach. The principles of strategic food combining we've explored are powerful tools for enhancing your health after 60, but they must fit into your real life to be effective. Whether you follow a specific dietary approach, have unique health considerations, or navigate social dining situations, you need practical strategies to apply these concepts across various contexts. In this chapter, we'll explore how to adapt food combining wisdom to different lifestyles while maintaining its core benefits. Linda, a 69-year-old retired teacher from Santa Fe, embraced the concept of strategic food combining but struggled with implementation. I'm vegetarian. I often eat at my daughter's house, and I have several chronic health conditions requiring medication, she explained during our consultation. The principles made sense, but I couldn't see how they'd work in my complicated life. After developing a personalized adaptation plan, Linda found her way forward. Now, I have specific strategies for different situations. My digestion has improved dramatically, and I've reduced 2 of my medications with my doctor's approval, she reported 3 months later. Let's explore how to adapt food combining principles across different dietary patterns. Plant-based eaters face unique considerations, as many vegetarian protein sources, like beans and lentils, contain both protein and carbohydrates. Dr. Anita Patel, nutritionist specializing in plant-based diets for seniors, recommends these adaptations. Focus on proper preparation methods to enhance digestibility. Soaking legumes before cooking, sprouting grain, and using fermentation all reduce anti-nutrients and make plant proteins more bioavailable, she explains. Then pair these foods with digestive supporting ingredients like ginger, fennel, or cumin. For vegetarians who consume egg, the egg-pumpkin combination remains an excellent option. For vegans, consider pairing tofu, protein, with carotenoid-rich foods like pumpkin, sweet potato, or carrots, adding healthy fats like avocado or olive oil to enhance nutrient absorption. Howard, a 73-year-old vegan from Austin, adapted the principles by having fruit-only meals in the morning, followed by properly combined protein-fat vegetable meals later in the day. I've been vegan for 15 years, but always struggled with bloating. Separating my fruits from my proteins has made a remarkable difference in my digestive comfort, he shared. The Mediterranean eating pattern aligns beautifully with food combining principles. Dr. Marco Rossi, researcher in longevity diets at the University of Milan, notes, traditional Mediterranean meal structures naturally honor proper food combining. You'll find meals begin with vegetables or salad, fiber-rich foods that prepare the digestive tract, followed by proteins like fish or beans, with fruits typically enjoyed as separate snacks rather than with meals. To optimize the Mediterranean approach, consider these adaptations. Enjoy your olive oil with vegetables and proteins, not on bread before meals. Separate fruit consumption from your main meals by at least 30 minutes. If consuming yogurt, a Mediterranean staple, pair it with honey or nuts rather than fresh fruit. Honor the traditional timing of coffee or tea consumed separately from main meals. Low-carb approaches can work well with food combining principles as they naturally separate fruit from proteins. Dr. Stephen Collins, metabolic health specialist, suggests for those following ketogenic or low-carb diets, the primary consideration becomes fat combining. Certain fats work synergistically with proteins, while others can slow digestion excessively. Medium-chain triglycerides, like coconut oil, combine well with proteins, while very high amounts of long-chain saturated fats may overburden digestive capacity after 60. Barbara, a 68-year-old following a keto diet for cognitive health, found that separating her heavy fat consumption from her protein improved her digestion significantly. I now have my bulletproof coffee in the morning, then wait an hour before having protein-based meals. My energy is more stable, and the digestive discomfort I'd attributed to keto has disappeared, she reported. Beyond dietary patterns, many seniors need to adapt food-combining principles around medication schedules, health conditions, and social situations. Many medications for chronic conditions interact with food or require specific time. Dr. Jennifer Lewis, geriatric pharmacist, advises, work with your healthcare provider to map your medication schedule alongside optimal food combined. For example, if you take thyroid medication that requires an empty stomach, this creates a natural opportunity for a fruit-only breakfast 30 minutes before your medication, followed by a protein-rich meal after the absorption window. Social dining presents challenges for perfect food combining, but principles can still be applied strategically. Richard, a 75-year-old retired executive who travels frequently, developed these practical approaches. When dining out, I focus on restaurant-friendly strategies. I'll order clear soup instead of bread before meals. I choose main dishes that already combine proteins with non-starchy vegetables. I skip dessert with the meal, but might enjoy fruit back at my hotel later. These simple adjustments maintain about 80% of the benefit without making me the difficult diner in the group, he explains. Not everyone can prepare elaborate meals, especially those with physical limitations or those recently widowed who never learned to cook. Martha, an 82-year-old with arthritis who recently lost her husband of 56 years, found simple strategies that worked for her limited cooking abilities. I use pre-cut vegetables, simple cooking methods like boiling eggs or microwaving sweet potatoes, and no-cook options like avocados and pre-cooked rotisserie chicken. I focus on the timing of when I eat things rather than complex recipes, she shared. Martha's approach demonstrates that even simplified cooking can honor proper food combining principles. Dr. Paul Henderson, a geriatric specialist focusing on practical nutrition solutions, emphasizes the importance of personalization. The goal isn't perfect adherence to food combining rules, but rather finding the specific combinations that trigger problems for you individually and addressing those first. For some seniors, the egg-citrus combination causes significant issues, while others might react more strongly to the egg-banana pairing. Self-observation becomes a powerful tool for prioritizing which principles to implement first. This personalized approach worked well for George, a 71-year-old with a complex medical history including diabetes and heart disease. I started by addressing just one problematic combination, my habit of having eggs with orange juice. When I saw how much that simple change improved my digestion, I gradually incorporated other principles. 6 months later, I've transformed my eating patterns without ever feeling overwhelmed by trying to change everything at once, he explained. For those caring for aging parents or partners, these principles can be adapted incrementally. Dr. Lisa Chen, nutritional gerontologist, suggests start with the combination causing the most noticeable symptoms. Make one change and maintain it for 2 weeks before introducing another. This gradual approach builds sustainable habits while clearly demonstrating the benefits of each change. In our next chapter, we'll explore how to overcome common challenges and resistance to changing long-established eating patterns. We'll address emotional eating, deeply ingrained habits, skepticism from family members, and strategies for maintaining these principles during illness or stress. But first, take some time to consider how you might adapt these food-combining principles to your specific lifestyle, dietary preferences, and health consideration. Identify one problematic combination you currently consume regularly, and experiment with a simple adaptation for the next week. You understand the science of food combining. You've learned about problematic pairs and beneficial combinations, and you have strategies to adapt these principles to your lifestyle. Yet, knowledge alone rarely creates lasting change. For many adults over 60, the greatest challenge isn't understanding what to do. It's actually doing it consistently, especially when facing decades of established habits, emotional attachments to traditional meals, or skepticism from family and friends. Charles, a 74-year-old retired banker from Chicago, understood the principles intellectually, but struggled with implementation. "I've eaten eggs with toast and orange juice every morning for over 40 years, he explained during our session. "Even though I noticed bloating and afternoon fatigue, changing felt almost impossible. It wasn't just about the food, it was about my entire morning ritual." Charles's experience highlights a crucial truth. Changing how we eat requires more than nutritional knowledge. It demands psychological strategies to overcome deeply embedded patterns. Dr. Rebecca Martinez, a psychologist specializing in behavior change in older adults, explains why dietary changes can be particularly challenging after 60. Food habits formed over decades create powerful neural pathways. Additionally, food carries emotional and cultural significance that intensifies with age. Many seniors have strong associations between specific food combinations and comfort, identity, or cherished memories. Changing these patterns requires addressing both the behavioral habit and its emotional underpinnings. Let's explore evidence-based strategies to overcome the most common barriers to implementing healthier food combinations after 60. For many seniors, certain food combinations aren't just meals, they're connections to their past, cultural identity, or loved ones. Martha, a 68-year-old widow from Boston, struggled to change her breakfast habits because having eggs with toast was something my husband and I did together for 45 years. Changing feels like losing another piece of him. Dr. James Wilson, geriatric counselor specializing in life transitions, recommends a process called emotional acknowledgement and reinvention for situations like Martha. Rather than trying to sever the emotional connection, transfer it to a new, healthier combination, he suggests. Martha created a framed photo of her husband to place on the table during her new, healthier breakfast ritual. She also incorporated his favorite herb, basil, into her egg and vegetable breakfast. These small touches preserve the emotional connection while supporting her health. When facing decades of established habits, trying to overhaul everything at once often leads to frustration and abandonment of new practices. Dr. Lisa Chen, behavioral scientist at Stanford's Longevity Center, recommends identifying the minimum effective change, the smallest modification that produces noticeable benefits. Robert R., a 77-year-old with severe digestive issues, applied this principle successfully. "Instead of changing my entire breakfast, I simply moved my orange juice 30 minutes earlier, before my eggs and toast. That one small change reduced my bloating by about 70%. Experiencing that improvement motivated me to make additional changes gradually," he shared. This incremental approach works because it builds confidence through early wins while minimizing the psychological resistance that comes with major changes. Research from the Journal of Applied Gerontology shows that older adults who make small, sustainable changes achieve better long-term outcomes than those attempting complete dietary overhaul. Our environment often reinforces existing habits through unconscious cues. Restructuring your environment can facilitate new behaviors with less reliance on willpower. Dr. Michael Brown, environmental gerontologist, explains many eating habits become automatic responses to environmental triggers. By intentionally redesigning these cues, we can make healthier combinations the path of least resistance. Eleanor, a 70-year-old retired teacher, applied this principle by reorganizing her kitchen. "I created a morning station with my fruit placed front and center for early consumption, while my egg supplies and vegetables were arranged together in another area for later breakfast. This visual separation reinforced the timing separation I was trying to achieve," she explained. After 3 weeks, her new eating pattern felt as automatic as her previous habit. Other environmental strategies include using different colored plates for different meal types to reinforce new combinations, setting timers to support optimal spacing between food groups, preparing grab-and-go, properly combined options for busy mornings, using visual reminders, like charts on the refrigerator, until new habits form. Many seniors face resistance from spouses, adult children, or friends when changing long-standing eating patterns. This social pressure can undermine even the best intentions. William, a 68-year-old trying to implement food combining principles, encountered constant questioning from his wife. She kept saying, "You've eaten this way your whole life. Why change now?" and would prepare our traditional breakfast despite my requests. Dr. Jennifer Harris, family dynamics counselor, recommends a 3-part approach for navigating such situations. First, focus on personal results rather than theoretical benefits when explaining your changes. "I've noticed I have more energy when I separate my fruit from my eggs," is more compelling than lengthy explanations about digestive enzymes. Second, invite participation without demanding it. William eventually found success by preparing separate breakfasts rather than trying to change his wife's habits simultaneously. "After she saw my energy improve and my acid reflux disappear, she became curious and started making changes herself," he reported. Third, find ways to honor tradition while adapting combinations. For family gatherings or special occasions, modify traditional dishes subtly rather than eliminating them entirely. This approach respects emotional connections while supporting health goals. Perfect adherence to optimal food combining isn't realistic or necessary necessary. Dr. Sarah Thompson, health psychologist, emphasizes the importance of developing a resilient mindset around dietary pattern. Many seniors abandon beneficial changes after a single deviation, viewing it as failure. Developing a flexible approach that accounts for special occasions, travel, or occasional preferences creates sustainability. Margaret, a 73-year-old who successfully implemented food combining principles, developed a 80-20 approach that served her well during a 3-week vacation with family. I maintained my key principles about 80% of the time, but allowed myself to participate fully in special family meals without guilt. This flexibility meant my new habits survived the trip rather than being abandoned entirely, she explained. Upon returning home, she easily resumed her optimal patterns without the discouragement that often follows perceived failure. The psychological aspects of changing food combinations after 60 are just as important as the nutritional principles themselves. By addressing the emotional components, making incremental changes, restructuring your environment, navigating social dynamics, and developing resilience, you can transform theoretical knowledge into lasting habits that support your health and vitality in the decades ahead. In our final chapter, we'll explore how these food combining principles can be extended beyond eggs to create a comprehensive approach for optimal digestion, energy, and longevity after 60. We'll also look at how to continue refining your personal nutrition strategy as your body's needs evolve over time. But first, take a moment to identify the primary psychological barrier that might be hindering your implementation of healthier food combinations, and consider which of the strategies discussed might help you overcome that specific challenge. Throughout our journey together, we've explored how strategic food combining, particularly involving eggs, can dramatically impact your health, energy, and longevity after 60. We've uncovered problematic combinations that might be sabotaging your well-being, discovered the rejuvenating power of eggs and pumpkin, learned to create balanced meal plans, and developed psychological strategies to support lasting change. In this final chapter, let's expand our vision beyond eggs to embrace a comprehensive approach to nutritional harmony that will serve you for the rest of your vibrant life. Helen, now 86, began implementing food combining principles at age 72 after struggling with chronic digestive issues and depleted energy. I started with just the egg combinations we've discussed, but over time, I applied these principles to my entire diet, she explained during our recent check-in. 14 years later, I still live independently, garden daily, and have more energy than many of my younger friends. My doctor says I have the inflammatory markers and metabolic health of someone decades younger. It all began with understanding how to combine my morning eggs properly, then expanded from there. Helen's experience exemplifies the potential long-term impact of the principles we've explored. The fundamental concepts underlying optimal food combinations extend far beyond eggs and can be applied to create nutritional harmony throughout your diet. Let's examine how these broader principles can transform your health in the decades ahead. Dr. Robert Chen, longevity researcher at the National Institute on Aging, explains the unifying principle. The common thread connecting all optimal food combinations is synchronization with your body's natural digestive processes and metabolic pathways. When foods are combined in ways that support rather than hinder these processes, inflammation decreases, nutrient absorption improves, energy stabilizes, and cellular aging slows measurably. Here are 5 master principles for optimal food combining that extend beyond eggs to your entire diet. Different food groups require different digestive timelines. Quick digesting foods like fruit, 30-60 minutes, can become trapped behind slower digesting proteins and fat, 3 to 4 hours, leading to fermentation and discomfort. This principle applies not just to eggs and banana, but to all proteins and all fruit. Martin Yins, a 76-year-old former college professor, applied this principle systematically. I restructured my day to consume fruits alone as morning or afternoon snack, keeping my main meals focused on proteins, healthy fats, and non-starchy vegetables. The chronic gas and bloating I'd attributed to normal aging disappeared completely within 2 weeks, he reported. This approach works because it aligns with your digestive physiology. As Dr. Jennifer Adams, gastroenterologist specializing in geriatric nutrition, explains, after 60, digestive enzyme production declines by approximately 1 to 1.5% annually, and stomach acid production decreases significantly. These changes extend protein digestion time while potentially accelerating carbohydrate fermentation when the two are combined. Separating these foods respects your body's changing capabilities. Certain nutrients enhance each other's absorption and utilization, a principle we saw with eggs and pumpkin, where the fats in eggs dramatically increased carotenoid absorption from pumpkin. This concept extends throughout your diet. Consider these powerful synergistic combinations. Turmeric with black pepper and healthy fat increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Vitamin C-rich foods with plant-based iron sources enhances iron absorption by up to 300%. Probiotic foods with prebiotic fibers optimizes gut microbiome function. Vitamin D-rich foods with calcium sources maximizes bone health support. Dorothy, a 79-year-old with osteopenia, applied this principle by combining sardines, vitamin D, with calcium-rich greens like kale, all drizzled with olive oil to enhance absorption. After 2 years of eating this combination 3 times weekly, my bone density scan showed improvement for the first time in a decade, she shared. My doctor was stunned, as bone density typically only declines at my age. The principle we explored regarding eggs and white bread, avoiding high glycemic carbohydrates with proteins, applies broadly across your diet. Stability in blood glucose and insulin response is a primary driver of healthy aging. Dr. Michael Peterson, endocrinologist specializing in metabolic health in seniors, recommends think of every meal in terms of its glycemic balancing act. Proteins, fats, and fiber act as metabolic buffers that moderate the blood sugar impact of carbohydrates. Ensuring these buffers are present whenever you consume carbohydrates creates metabolic stability that directly translates to energy, mood, and cognitive clarity. Richard, a 68-year-old with prediabetes, applied this principle by ensuring every carbohydrate-containing meal included protein, healthy fat, and fiber. I didn't eliminate carbohydrates. I just never ate them alone or as the dominant part of any meal. Within 3 months, my A1C dropped from 6.3 to 5.7, moving me out of the pre-diabetic range without medication, he reported. Different digestive enzymes function optimally in different pH environments, a principle we saw with eggs and citrus juice. This concept extends to the separation of predominantly starchy meals from predominantly protein meals to honor the different enzymatic requirements for optimal digestion. Elizabeth, a 72-year-old with chronic acid reflux, found relief through this approach. Instead of having meat or fish with potatoes or rice at every dinner, I began alternating between predominantly protein meals, meat with non-starchy vegetables, and predominantly starchy meals, rice or sweet potatoes with smaller amounts of protein. My reflux improved by about 80% within a month, she shared. Perhaps the most profound extension of our principles is the concept of cyclical eating, varying your food combinations throughout the day and across the week to support your body's natural rhythmic processes. Dr. Sarah Thompson, chronobiologist studying nutritional timing, explains, your digestive capacity, metabolic rate, and nutrient needs fluctuate throughout the day following circadian rhythms. Generally, digestive fire is stronger in the morning and midday, making these optimal times for protein-rich combinations, while evenings may better suit lighter, carbohydrate-based combinations that support sleep hormones. James, an 81-year-old with lifelong insomnia, applied this principle by shifting his protein-heavy meals to breakfast and lunch, while making dinner a lighter combination of vegetables and moderate carbohydrates. After 50 years of sleep medications, I now sleep naturally through the night. The timing of my food combinations made the difference that no sleep aid ever could, he reported. As you continue your journey beyond this book, remember that the principles we've explored are not rigid rules, but rather a framework for understanding and working with your body's innate wisdom. Your personal experience remains the ultimate guide. Pay attention to how different combinations make you feel and trust your observation. Margaret, now 91 and still living independently, perhaps summarized it best. These principles gave me back control over my health at a time when many of my friends were surrendering to inevitable and decline. 15 years later, I'm still refining my approach based on how my body responds. The greatest gift wasn't just the specific combinations, but learning to listen to my body's feedback. As you move forward, continue experimenting, observing, and adapting these principles to your unique needs. Remember that your nutritional needs will continue evolving, requiring ongoing refinement of your approach. The journey of optimal nourishment isn't a destination, but a lifelong exploration, one that can bring increasing vitality, clarity, and joy with each passing year. You deserve to experience vibrant health, abundant energy, and true nutritional harmony in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. The power to create that reality begins with your very next meal. What combination will you choose?